Thank you for tuning in today in memory of the 157 passengers and crew that were killed on the 10th of March 2 years ago, when Ethiopian Airlines flight ET302, a Boeing 737 MAX plane, crashed shortly after takeoff from Addis Ababa in Ethiopia. This is a day that should not be forgotten. We should all remember this day and honour the members of the World Food Programme family, the humanitarians and all those who died needlessly 2 years ago. My husband Mick Ryan was one of 8 members of the United Nations World Food Programme family that were on board this flight. Overall, the UN lost 21 staff from 12 agencies and 1 peacekeeping mission, many in the prime of their careers. Since my address last year, there have been further developments. In January of this year, the Department of Justice in the United States initiated a criminal proceeding against Boeing for conspiracy, fraud and deception, which led to the 2 fatal crashes, Lion Air Flight 610 and Ethiopian Airlines Flight 302, and the death of 346 people because of these defective planes. In spite of Boeing's clear culpability and criminal conduct, no one, not one single person, has been held to account. However, the negligent and culpable decisions that led to the 2 Boeing MAX crashes were made by individuals within Boeing, including executives and non-executives. These decisions clearly demonstrated that for Boeing, profit was more important than the safety of the flying public. When Boeing dismissed its CEO after the 2 crashes, they rewarded him with an $80 million payout. The US Department of Justice reached a settlement called a Deferred Prosecution Agreement, or a DPA, with Boeing just 2 weeks before the last administration left office, in January 2021. As a result of this DPA, Boeing received a $2.5 billion fine, a small sum for Boeing, the majority of which is compensation money for the affected airlines. Less than 10% is an actual government penalty, and less than 20% is compensation for the victims' families. Moreover, the executives, the decision makers, were all exonerated in this agreement. Not surprisingly, Boeing agreed to pay this fine and said the Deferred Prosecution Agreement acknowledged how the firm fell short. Also, in the past few months, the 737 MAX has been cleared to fly in US and European airspace once again, despite the fact that Boeing continues to hide critical information about these planes in relation to the 2 crashes and the safety of its current design. Since the Ethiopian Airlines crash on this day 2 years ago, my children are growing up without their father. Sarah, now aged 5, has started school, and MacDara has learned to walk and talk. He only knows who Daddy is from photographs and videos. We, the family, friends and colleagues, carry the loss in our hearts every single day. Sometimes when I'm in a particular place that Mick loved, or where we spend time together, I imagine I see him off in the distance walking towards me, and for a split second my heart fills with unbelievable joy. Any encounter with Mick was joy itself. Recently, when we were in Lahinch, the hometown where Mick grew up, my daughter said to me that she would like to invent a time machine. I asked her what she would do with this time machine. She told me that she would bring us all back to a point when her daddy was still here and we could be with him. She went on to tell me that she would take him from that time and bring him back with us today so that he never had to get on that plane. And even though my daughter would just want to bring her daddy back, if I had a time machine, I would change the lives of the 346 families. What if there had been a different corporate culture within Boeing? What if fraud and corruption had not been tolerated? What if Boeing had not lied to the FAA because they valued safety and human life above profit? When someone we love dies, particularly under sudden and traumatic circumstances, the first thing we notice is the silence. But as time moves on and noise begins to fill the space that our loved one once occupied, we tell ourselves that the world keeps turning and we move forward again. But this silence hangs over us. There is an inconvenient truth that must be confronted. The deaths resulting from the crash of Ethiopian Airlines flight ET302 was the manslaughter of 157 people due to corporate greed and corruption. Only until the truth is faced can real change take place. Moving people around, making large payouts to get people out of the way is not accountability, and it is not change. Time and again we have seen the tragedy of this approach. Nothing will change until the truth is faced head on, and this will only happen with full transparency of the facts that led to these two crashes. Mick was not afraid to take responsibility. He was not afraid to stand up for those who did not have a voice. He paid the ultimate sacrifice in a world that likes to hide the truth. I cannot change the lives of our families, but maybe I can change the lives of families of the future. We need to call this out for what it is. We need to confront the truth for all families and children who could lose a loved one due to corporate greed, negligence, and corruption. We need transparency, real justice, and accountability. Then, and only then, can real change take place.